What are some of the most ridiculous things that people have accepted as normal in this world? The cost of living. Within my lifetime, a guy could work one blue-collar job, pay off a mortgage, save for his kids' college education while his wife stayed home to take care of his kids. It's so weird to me that people are okay with the fact you can't do that anymore. The fact that public restroom stalls don't reach the floor. In the US, the insane number of commercials for prescription drugs, like, doctors go to school for 8 years to learn to treat you correctly. And people are going in there asking for drugs they saw on TV. Junk mail. Entire towns' worths of people receive a batch of paper every day that arrives in the mailbox and is promptly chucked in the recycle if we're lucky, or in the trash if we're not fooling ourselves. Cutting down all those trees. Wasting so much energy making, shipping, delivering, recycling, and doing it all over, just for credit card offers and nonsense that almost nobody needs, wants, or cares about. Madness. In the US, health insurance. My work has decent insurance, or so I've been told. I DK how to tell, and I'm not sure I believe them. I pay about $100 from every paycheck, only to have to pay another $100,200 for every doctor visit just for my primary prescription. Coverage is not included. Working a full-time job and still not being able to make ends meet. Buying water. Work full-time 40 hours plus a week with no money to live and enjoy life until you are too old to do it, and get stuck your whole life chasing freedom by working. Going to pick up an order of food and tipping. The worst brainwashing in history. Grass. Seriously, what a scam. We bring in grass that is not native and are forced to grow it in our yards. Then we have to spend all this time and money to cut it every week. Why aren't more people outraged about this? Lol. A US president openly lying to and grifting the citizens. In today's debates, it's frustrating that there's no middle ground. If you don't fully agree with one side, you're seen as completely opposing it. It's really hard to express disagreement with some of someone's ideas because they take it as rejecting everything they believe. Pay-to-play politics, and lobby $T$. Remaining in unhappy relationships. People are greedy as fuck. Even family members will swindle you if they think you're weak. I'm about 90 sure my mother has a life insurance policy on me, and if given the chance she'll pull the plug. She's asked before when I was having stomach pains in the late 2000s if she should get one for me. Also, always get shit in writing. In the US, gridlocked automobile traffic. Hundreds of cars with one person in them, clogging up miles of roadway. How you can have misery right next to luxury and it's just okay. People living in the streets, out in the cold and eating next to nothing when there's a 5-star restaurant 50 meters away. And somehow, it's just okay. Online booking fees. Fuck you, Ticketmaster. Full-time jobs working for a multi-billion-dollar company that don't even put you above the poverty line. Hoas. It's my property, they're not paying my bills. That at some food establishments a common sandwich is now $15 or more. People thinking it's perfectly normal to decide what some other person can or cannot do with his or her own body. Yes, I'm talking about abortion, but also drug use and suicide. Spending most of our lives working from 9 to 5. The rich becoming so rich it is beyond comprehension how much money they have. and the gap ever expanding between the wealthy and the most deprived people. In the US, school shootings. The price for anything dental in the USA. Even with insurance that shouldn't exist, healthcare is a basic necessity for humans, but yet we allow this system that's not working. That there are only good people and bad people, and that you can tell them apart by their political affiliation, favorite sports team, by skin color, or by their age. No worker protections. Shitty working conditions. Shitty pay. School shootings. Stupid high rent. Poverty. Homelessness. The inevitable shit climate change brings. Etc. Not having mandatory driving retests past a certain age. Most old people drive until they are forced to stop due to how dangerous they are. The state of taxation, health care, and cost of living. Empty houses. Open jobs. But people living unhoused and unable to get a job because they have no home. Children going hungry. Blaming the victims of SA and DV. Denying a group of people the right to live for some reason. Men versus women. Asians versus Muslims. Caucasian versus black. Etc. Treating someone with lots of money better than treating someone with no money. Children living in poverty and going hungry. I don't know why all schools don't provide free, healthy lunches. Kardashians. War. Cheating on your partner. Social media influencers. I recently watched this video on TikTok where they asked a bunch of little children what they want to do in the future and how much they intend to make. The answers were really sad, and it looks like money has limited these kids from chasing things that, as kids, we thought were awesome. I didn't realize until after watching it how normal it's gotten to ask kids and adults questions about salary. Blaming introverted people for being introverted and assuming that they are the problem. Perhaps I'm quite a boomer, but I find it absolutely ridiculous how nowadays people have accepted it's normal to pay for a service but just rent it, rather than own it in the form of subscription services. E.g. paying for Spotify or Apple Music rather than the individual MP3 song files, or having the files native to your hardware. Depends what you mean by people. It blows my mind that Americans have accepted active shooter drills and safe rooms inside classrooms as somehow inevitable. That we pay for health insurance in the US but are still expected to pay out of pocket for anything. Like these insurance companies are making hand over fist they should be able to cover medical bills and fully pay for medications. The health system in the US in general is complete ass and needs a total overhaul, but what else is new, right? Paying for water and pleading for fresh air. Buying a new phone every year. Faceless, unquestionable and unaccountable authority. Racism. Broker fees for finding an apartment listing yourself. A 5-day working week. That a manager can tell people what they want him to do after hours and it's part of every day. Corporate health insurance as a benefit tied to employment. Corporate health insurance with premiums that are too expensive to afford, and deductibles that are too high to use. Corporate health insurance that probably accepts bribes for drug placement on its formulary while rubber stamping coverage denials for prescribed medications. Being complacent with how shit things are. We shouldn't be working towards having enough money where problems don't affect us. We should be working towards a solution to the problems so everyone can benefit.